And my name is Eric Koch. I work in the telemetry unit here. I just want to reiterate with some of you, I know that maybe you weren't here for Tuesday when Bonnie was here. So I know many of you were not here when we had the open discussion and, may I say, fruitful dialogue with the executive director of CNA, Bonnie Castillo. Many of you have seen the snippet on Honey Badger, or maybe the full dialogue shared this morning, and I airdropped it to a few of you. Please email or share these on social media. We have fears that we have been abandoned by our union. Bonnie addressed our fears openly. Mark Goodick pressed her on why the nurses at 16 other Sutter tables were forbidden from speaking to each other on the details of their negotiations. And they couldn't even tell their own nurses at their individual tables what they were discussing. The nurses they represented, they were not allowed to tell the details of what was happening. Cui bono? Who benefits from that? Who benefits? Now, we told her that, we were told that the federal mediators insisted that we not speak amongst each other. The federal mediators made it their stance that we should not speak amongst each other. Now, that was reinforced by Jonathan, Ann Stewart, and Sean Bartlett, that we should not speak to each other and not tell the nurses at our own hospital what we were discussing. Well, when we told that to Bonnie scrunched her nose and looked kind of like, what? She said the federal mediator would never do that. The truth. The veteran negotiators understood this from day one. We were gaslit. Now, we were led to believe by Jonathan and others that this was the new normal, or the new COVID Zoom normal that we should expect. Now, God bless our executive director. She said, quote, communication is the key. And if you remember, she extolled transparency. Well, so let's do a little logic problem. We have three parties, A, B, and C. A, the mediators. B, Sutter. C, CNA. Okay, so we know from even our own executive director that the mediators, they just don't do that. Why would they care whether nurses talk amongst themselves? So that leaves B and C. Why would Sutter forbid us from talking amongst each other from the different tables? That's just basic free speech. So does that not eliminate B? So we eliminate A and B, and that leaves C. Why would our union divide us at the very beginning of our negotiations? What is the purpose of getting 16 Sutters together for common expiration if we were to fritter this position of power away? Why were we told by Jonathan Weitz that we couldn't get more than 24% over 4 years? He said, why would you deserve more than what the others settled for? Do you know who told me that before 7 years ago? Dave Cuesta, the Sutter lawyer of labor relations. Why does our union parrot Sutter? When we left the common table, because we didn't want to trash our 70-plus-year-old contract, we attacked the tactic of siloing and silencing us. Many at the common table joined us and claimed that they too found this to be horrible. Why are we even having a common table if it's all for one and one for all, and they're having a common table to conclude, and we still haven't finished at our regular individual table? They sensed there was something wrong. There was something fishy in Denmark. Now, Amy Erb, the chief nurse rep at CPMC, a negotiator, and on the CNA board, placed in the Zoom chat quote, "It was not done to be malicious," unquote. What is pregnant in this statement is that a nurse on the board knew about the, quote, "vow of silence." How dare a nurse silence another nurse? How dare it? This plan to create a master contract by gutting the better contracts and starting from scratch is utterly asinine. We have never been more powerful than we have been during COVID. Never. Why did we not strike in December, forcing Sutter to concede? Why? I talked to a retired veteran CNA negotiator, and their conclusion was that our own union had a settlement with Sutter behind the scenes. He went on to say, this is how the union operated when the ANA was here, before the revolution. The silencing of nurses may have been convenient, but integrity is the choice between what is convenient and what is right. There's a politician in the 80s, I never agreed with him, but I was fond of him always saying this. He said, quote, "If you have integrity, nothing else matters. If you don't have integrity, nothing else matters," unquote. Now, many of us have voiced that we shouldn't criticize CNA publicly. Well, Sutter knows our business. They know CNA made a gentleman's agreement with them. If CNA did make a deal with them, they squandered away negotiating from the greatest position of power we as nurses have ever had. It was an underwhelming negotiating performance, to say the least. We speak out against CNA because in an intervention, you don't care about the public perception. You care about the person. We are trying to save the union from itself. We cannot devolve into the ANA management union again. We as nurses are the union. We want integrity. We as nurses issue a blunt refusal to divorce character and honesty from the people who purport to represent us. We have one other hospital who will probably vote down their TA they made under duress. Please share this video when it becomes available to any nurse or friend of a nurse with the other Sutters in this fight. It's not too late to win a great contract and win back something even greater, a union that truly represents nursing values. Thank you.